Hi there, it's Prof H again. It's good to see you. Now, in the prior video, we talked about the extract phase of ETL. In this video, we're going to be talking about the transform phase, the second phase of ETL. Let's go back to that scenario, that retailer who wants to analyze the effect of weather and online customer reviews on sales trends. Now, by the time they get to the transform phase, they've already extracted all of the data. But here's the problem. That data is messy. There could be some missing data, inconsistent formatting, some extra characters, maybe some extra spaces, for example. Also, some of that data may lack structure, for example, those online customer reviews. And so they need to be standardized. So this is what the whole transform phase is about. It's cleaning and standardizing this data so it can be loaded into the target database for further analysis. Let's get after it. So in the transform phase, there's a couple of high-level tasks. And the first one is cleaning the data. And so this involves cleaning data that's incomplete, inaccurate, that's been duplicated, that has some of those leading zeros and certain other characters such as the tab character, or maybe even the Great British Pound symbol that we're going to see here in a second. Now, I personally extracted data from a lot of different systems, and when I do, it has come down with those extra characters, and those extra characters need to be removed before the data can be loaded into the target database for further analysis. Let's take a look at a specific example. So right over here, I'm a huge Premier League soccer fan, and so what I did is I downloaded data from a website. This shows the cheapest season ticket and the most expensive and the cheapest single ticket, so on and so forth. You can get the picture. And when I basically copied and pasted the data from a website and I put it into Excel, and when I do, you can see there's some issues here. First, look at this is all text because it's all left aligned. It also has this currency symbol, the Great British Pound symbol. Some of the data, but not all of them, have the asterisks. The columns are also misaligned and they need to be moved over. Basically, this data needs to be cleaned before it can be loaded into the target database. Okay, so this Great British Pound symbol, for example, needs to be removed. The asterisks need to be removed. The columns need to be moved over. So it needs to be cleaned like that before we can analyze it and load it into the target database. Here's a second high-level step of the transform phase, which is conforming the data. So we're going to make it consistent. We're going to make it all a consistent format. So for example, we have all this data in Great British Pounds, but maybe we wanted to convert it into US dollars, for example. Okay. Then the third high-level task that we'd be doing within the transform phase is merging the data. So we have all those online customer reviews. We have the weather data. And then we also have the online sales data. And then we also have the brick and mortar sales data. Now, those have all been extracted from different systems and they are located in different files. But before we can load it into the target database, it all needs to be combined into one file. So what this is going to be what this means is that we're going to have to join all of this data on some common fields so we can put it all into one file so then we can load it into the target database. And then the last high-level step of the transform phase is adding to the data or enhancing the data. So with our retailer, for example, the retailer, for example, might want to calculate a new field such as deviation from average temperature, which could be the difference between the daily temperature and then the average temperature for that day, and then use that as a variable for determining the impact of this on sales trends. Let's also take a closer look at that soccer data that we cleaned and also enhanced. And so, for example, now we can see we cleaned it. We've moved all these columns over. They're all in the right place. We've also removed the Great British Pound symbol. There's no more asterisks. These data now are all numeric, so we can do some mathematical operations. And then what I did is I enhanced the data. So I added in a calculated field. And we've all done this in Excel, but sometimes we need to do this because the target database, maybe it wants this data as well, right over here. And so this needs to be calculated before it's put into the target database, the data warehouse, the data mart for further analysis. Now, as you can see, the transform phase can be fairly involved and complex, but keep in mind, CPA candidates are not required to perform any of these functions in Excel or other software applications on the exam, but you do, as we talked about, need to know the transform phase at a high level, some of the major tasks involved in the transform phase. All right, thanks so much, Prof. H. out.